What's up guys, it's Morgaming here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing some more mining, and yes, I'm in a Corvette and you might be thinking, what's a Corvette going to do mining? And I'll show you guys in a second. But yeah, today we're going to be doing some subsurface mining in one of the new systems that has a triple low temperature diamond hotspot overlay. And yeah, we're going to be trying it out. I'm going to be giving you guys a tutorial on how to find the most profit up to 200 million credits per hour in this system. And yeah, we'll just get straight into it. Okay guys, so as you can see we're on a carrier because in this system, which is, um, I'm not going to be bothered reading the name out, but you can see the name right there, right up there. And I'll leave the name in the description, that's it right there. But if we go into the system map, we have a non-scriptable star, so make sure you have enough fuel to come in and out. But there are plenty of fleet carriers here to refuel on, as you can see, because a lot of people are just using this to their advantage, because, yeah, as you can see, a lot of people are wanting to get the 200 million credits per hour from this system. And this is the plant right here that we're going to be mining from. It's got the icy rings on the edge, and it's got a triple low temperature diamond hotspot overlay that we're going to be mining. So yeah, if you will be needing to at least have or have a friend who has a fleet carrier to come in here to be getting the 200 million credits per hour. You can still earn a lot of profit off this, but it will probably be similar to your normal deep core mining and laser mining, rather than the 200 million credits per hour, which is double what they give you. Um, but yeah, once we get into this, you guys will see why. And also, subsurface mining is probably the most enjoyable way of mining, in my opinion, because it's a bit more tricky than the other mining things, but also it's just very profitable, and you have a lot of fun doing it. But let's get into outfitting. Okay guys, so we're in outfitting here, and I had to find some random person's carrier in here that actually had outfitting, because my friend's carrier does not, so I had to come over here just so I can show you guys what's in this Corvette. But we'll start with hardpoints. Now, none of this is engineered, say that, and these multi-cannons are engineered, but these are just tiny little bit of engineering that I had the materials for, and I really couldn't be bothered doing anything else. But you don't need engineering for this, of course. But we've got two 4A multi-cannons, like on the Combat Corvette, a 3C beam laser, and two 1G pulse lasers for actual weapons. And I'll tell you guys in detail why we're going to need these weapons in the future, but you will be getting into combat doing this, which also does make this more fun, but it does make your loadout for your ships a little more complicated, and you're going to need to balance mining and combat evenly. But we've got two subsurface displacement missiles here. The reason we have two is because we're going to need enough missiles to actually fill up our cargo capacity. If we only had one, we would only be able to get about 150 to 200 units, which is plenty. But if you do have a capacity over about 200 units, 200 tons, um, you will be needing two or more. I would say this Corvette just gets by with its 280, sorry, not 200, 384 tons of cargo on two subsurface displacement missiles. But if you're on something like a Type 9 or a Clipper, sorry, not a Clipper, a Cutter, which will be much more fitted for this. But if you're on a cutter with about 500 tons of cargo, you'll be needing three subsurface displacement missiles. But one, if you're below 200 tons, 200 to 400 tons is two, and then 400 plus tons is three. But that's basically what we have for hard points. And yeah, you do need to have at least some sort of combat capability for this. Now, moving on to utilities, I've got some shield boosters in here, of course, because we're going to be getting into combat. I've got 2 point defense on the bottom, so it can shoot off any hatch breaker limpets, because you're going to be finding a lot of those, and you don't want to drop your cargo. And also, you have a pulse wave analyzer, which is necessary. In this, I haven't put anything. I would put something like a shield booster, but I do not have the power capacity because I haven't engineered my power plant either. This ship is like brand new, but I still spent over 500 million credits on it, which is sad, but we had to make do. Now, we've only got the lightweight alloys here. I would prefer to put something like, is it the mirrored alloys? Or, the military grade alloys? But I only managed to put lightweight on here, also keeps the rebuy down below 20 million credits. But I've basically A-rated everything here. Power plant needs to be A-rated. Thrusters needs to be A-rated because you are doing combat, and also for doing subsurface mining, especially this subsurface mining that we're going to be doing, your ship's going to need to move. Trust me. Of course, A-grade frameshift drive because we're going to be jumping around, which honestly I could get rid of because having a fleet carry in this system, I don't need a high jump range, but just getting back and forth, you will need a high jump range no matter what. D-rated life support just keeps things light. A-rated power distributor, um, because you're going to need to be powering those weapons. Sensors, I've just gone with the stock, and fuel tank as normal. Now, optional internals, I filled up the three 7 class optional internals of the Corvette with cargo racks. This gives us the 384 tons of cargo. And then here we've got a 6A shield generator. If I had the prismatics unlocked, I would be engineering my power plant and adding in a prismatic 6A shield generator, which would boost a lot of things and allow this to do combat much, much better, but I don't have that, so we're just sticking with the normal 6A. I could put bioweaves on this, but I prefer not to use bioweaves on a larger class ship, but if you're on a smaller thing, bioweaves might be better for you. Um, and now here you're going to want a lot of collector limpets. I would say you're going to be wanting 5 minimum, and probably 5 to 12 collector limpets. I think I had to sacrifice some because being a Corvette, this thing has 2 military slots, so you can't put collectors there. And I needed a fuel scoop, you need a refinery, and you need prospector limpets. Um, I don't actually need a fuel scoop right now, but I do have to go a wee way to actually find a station in this place, so there's a lot of things that just don't exist around here, so you're gonna want to bring a fleet carrier over here, because jumping is not really an option unless you're in something like, you have some at least 30 light years of jump range, which this ship does not have. Also, detailed surface scanner, you're gonna be needing that. You're gonna be needing a refinery. Prospector limpets, you're going to be needing. You technically only need a grade 1 class prospector limpet, because you only need one active limpet at a time, but this thing doesn't really have many single class slots, so we've just gone with 2. Um, and then you can use the rest of your slots for limpets just as collectors. That's what I would recommend. Let's see how many we have here. We have 9, I think. I did at one point have this fuel scoop switched out for a 3 class collector limpet, which gave us 11 collectors at a time, which would be amazing, but just can't have that at the moment. But yeah, that's it done. And we'll move on to actually doing it. Okay guys, so we're here scouting out the rings, and before we get into any mining, I would like to say that most of the content in this video is found and learnt by me from Down to Earth Astronomy. He's an amazing Elite Dangerous YouTuber, gives you a lot of details and amazing tutorials on anything you would need to know. But I just want to put that disclaimer out because, yeah, a lot of people in the comments might be like, you stole all his content, which technically I have done, but I've just tried to give you a more detailed guide that a lot more people will understand and just make it easier for you guys to learn. Babo! No, it's all good. Just, you need to take it? Okay. Okay guys, we're here, and as you can see, here's our triple low temperature diamond hotspots overlay. Now, we're going to want to target this central one right here, and we're going to want to get as close to it as possible. I would say within a kilometer. So you can just come down here, use the second seven, Jesus, second seven, oh my god, English, it's going well guys, but the 7-second rule, just coming in close here. Now you want to stay as on top of it as possible, just so you end up entering as close to the actual hotspot as you can, and you simply just come down here, just like so, right on top of it, then you can just cut your speed as you get closer to it. And then you should end up hitting right in the center, right here. Now, 20 kilometers away, you're gonna be wanting to be within that. I think this 11 sort of kilometer range is like the closest you can end up entering. But basically, the most vertical down you go onto the hotspot is just gonna give you the easiest access and the quickest access to it. But once you're approximately above the actual hotspot right here, you're just going to want to cut your power, flatten out, and just sort of drop down. And you should see that the hotspot is right below you, and you can just look sort of with your free camera, even though you can't see the hotspot, but just figure it out. Now, make sure to stock up on limpets, as you can see here, because, yeah, I just did that before anything, just so I didn't forget, which I do normally do. But you're going to want to come over here, navigation, and I have set that all to fleet carriers, trying to find a fleet carrier. But you're going to want to target the planet right here, and simply just face towards it. Simple as that, and just look directly at it. Now, you're going to want to make sure the star is above you, so you can just target it here, and the star is over there. Now, it doesn't have to be directly above you like it is there, but it just has to be in the top half of your circular dial right here. And you can also just make sure by just tilting your ship, and you should be able to see the actual star from the planet. But once you've done that, you're just going to want to thrust upwards and just simply continue pointing at the planet right here. And once your mass lock is off, you will get on to the next step. So I'll meet you guys once I'm out of mass lock. Okay guys, we just got our mass lock, so I'm gonna cut our speed, cut our thrust, and we're gonna want to target the low temperature diamond hotspot that's 0.31 light seconds away. Just remember 0.31, and it should be over to your side somewhere over there. And you're going to want to turn so the dial is almost direct, well, the hotspot is almost directly behind you. So just continue turning like this, and I'll give you guys a close-up view of the dial because you need to be pretty precise with this. But just wait until the dial, the little blue marker on your dial, is touching the inner right circle of your hollow dot, your hollow marker, and you can just go to the side, just make sure it is right there. It doesn't have to be exact, but it needs to be really reasonably close. This is probably the most important part. And once you've done that, keep your throttle at 0 and just charge up your FSD. So you're going to want to be getting into Super Cruise right here. And once you're ready to engage, just simply tilt up a touch and boost, and you should end up entering Super Cruise. And once you're in it like this, you're going to want to cut your power, and as quick as you can, go over, select the low temperature diamond hotspot that you were just at. Closest one should be within 100 kilometers, and you're going to want to drop in at exactly 690 kilometers away from the hotspot. You can just start nosing down once you're getting close, and once you're in at around there, that is not the best drop in for me. That's 20 kilometers off, but I can just continue going through here. And now on the dial, as you can see, I'm pointing directly away from it now, which is not the same as I was when I lined up and before I went into cruise. Don't worry about that, don't try to realign, otherwise that will put you off course. Just simply keep your heading and don't try to veer sideways at all. Now I'm going to not touch my my rotation, for my ship. I'm just going to let my ship idle and go straight forwards because I don't want to go off course here. But what you can do is you can pull your weapons out and just start sending off your pulse wave analyzer. And you can nose down a little, get into the hotspot. But you're going to want to keep going until you're 690 kilometers away from that hotspot that you came from. Now, once you're exactly there, you should find the egg at approximately the same distance, give or take 1 or 2 kilometers from 690, and you can just keep sending this off. Okay guys, I found this one which looks quite promising. It's rotating. Now the egg rotates quite fast, so this could not be it. It seems a touch slow, but we'll just send off our limpet. And once it's in here, we're going to want to go over to our contacts and check these subsurface deposits. Now this wasn't it because we're looking for a 4 subsurface deposit low temperature diamonds, so that's unfortunate, but we'll keep on looking and trying to find the egg. This could be it right here actually. We'll check, see how far it is. Yep, this is like the perfect position, and it looks pretty perfect. It's spinning a really similar rate to what it was last time I was here. So we'll just cut our speed, fire out another prospector limpet, try not to ram it, which is harder than it sounds in this Corvette. And we'll check our contacts again, and here we go. Here's our 4 low temperature diamonds subsurface targets, which is our this is our egg right here. It's spinning pretty fast, so it's pretty difficult to actually mine, but we'll get to that in a second. So guys, before we start mining here, once you have found your egg, you're going to want to come over to fire groups, and this is what I've got set up. You can sort of edit it to your own liking, but in the first fire group here, I've got my weapons for combat. This is just simply my multi-cannons and my pulse and beam lasers. This is absolutely fine. It's just what I have here, just for a setup. Next, down the bottom, I have my detailed surface scanner and discovery scanner for the rings. Then I have the pulse wave analyzer and prospector limpet controller. These you're going to want to have in similar spots. And then finally, right here, I've got my subsurface displacement missile and collector limpet controller, which I would put in the same spot on your fire groups. And then I've just got the collector limpets here, just in case I need to fire collector limpets without the subsurface displacement missile. And you'll notice I have only one missile binded at the moment, and I'll explain that in a second. Okay guys, so once you're here, you're going to want to target one of these low temperature diamond things. Sorry. Switch over to your displacement and collector limpets. Now the reason we have this in the same thing is as you're firing your displacement missile, the collectors will fire themselves out. But for a ship like this, you're going to want to have pipster engines because this is rotating quite fast, and you're going to want to be able to keep up with it. So we can just deploy our cargo scoop, and also remember which side your displacement missile was actually in. I'm pretty sure it's on this side right here if it's not straight down the middle, and yep, it is. So you're going to want to hold down your mouse button, and you're going to want to try to release on a 2 or a 1. These will send out the most amount of fragments, but you do just continue doing this, hold down your mouse until you find these little red dots, and you release when you're on the red dot. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm just trying to give you the most detail I can. Also, the higher the higher little thing is, the density right here, the faster your bottom the bottom track will move. So just watch out for that, and you can use that top thing as sort of a speed detector. Now, as you can see, I tried firing at that again, but it bounced off, and the reason is it's depleted, so it's disappeared. And yeah, I would recommend, because this spins quite fast, your collectors do struggle a bit, so I'd recommend just waiting here for a second, wait for your collectors to collect everything, just because it will become sort of frustrating at the end trying to collect everything. But just let your collectors go out, grab all the fragments, and then move on to the next one. Okay guys, so most of my fragments are collected, there's just 2 more, so I can move on to the next one here. Now these are all pretty difficult to do, and they do get it gets easier the more you do it, but it is quite a tricky thing to get good at. But I would also recommend, if it's your first time doing this subsurface mining, just going for the 3 and the 4 red dots, just because they're easy to get, and yeah, they're just good things to practice on. And you don't even need to do it with the egg if you don't want to use your things on the egg. As you can see there, I actually missed the one by a reasonable amount, so you don't actually have to be perfect with doing this. It's not necessary, but yeah, that was too far off, and I messed that up there. Normally I'm pretty good at this, but this is my first time doing this today, so just gotta get in the flow. But once you've got to it, you should be pretty good, and it is also harder to do when you're rotating around the actual thing. Forgot to hold down my trigger there, which is why it blew up instantly. But you just want to get it right there, and that has disappeared now. And my cargo haul is maxed out, so I'm gonna need to come here and abandon some limpets, which is pretty unfortunate. But I was doing this last night, and I'll play a clip here. But I was doing this, and I continued doing this cycle for quite a bit, and I managed to, in 1 hour, get my whole cargo haul filled up, and I could transport that to my friend's fleet carrier, where we are stocking up 7,000 units of these low temperature diamonds, which we will sell in the bubble for a higher price of around 500k per ton, because there's nowhere pretty close here that we can actually sell for. Okay guys, so as you can see, my limpets have collected all the low temperature diamonds, and there are no more subsurface low temperature diamond deposits. But yeah, here we go. Here's all my limpets out there. They're still active, but basically you can just pull out your cargo scoop, and where you are, just exit to the main menu. Make sure not to exit to desktop, just main menu. But once you've exited there, we're going to want to wait for the game to load. Just click continue and go back into solo play. Now, make sure to do this in solo play, because there will be hundreds of other people mining in this exact same area on this exact same rock. So, yeah, it's not happening in open play. So guys, you should spawn right above the asteroid field right here. So just pull out your pulse wave analyzer and your weapons, and just simply go down here and look for your egg again. Now, you'll start getting scanned, which is quite unfortunate, but you're gonna want to locate your egg. I might not be able to here, but yeah, I will need to be getting rid of these guys. So I'll switch over to my weapons, and this here is the reason, which is, yeah, this is the reason you're going to need things like this, is because there'll be pirates spawning, trying to kill you, and I'm about to get shot at. So yeah, you're just gonna want to get rid of these guys, because they're gonna really mess up your day, and it's not gonna go well for you, and if probably not them if you're doing this correctly. But yeah, you just gotta keep yourself going. And yeah, it's not great. I really wish I had prismatics. I would love some 7A shields here. That is very much out of range, so I'm just gonna move on to the Viper here. But it's absolutely fine. I do not have very good alloy, so if my shields do go down, it's not gonna be the best, but I'm just sort of hoping right here. This is not going very well, especially because there's a Viper, which is just probably one of the most annoying ships in the game. But hopefully once I get these multi-cannons to actually hit it, we should be fine. So I'll just put a bit more power to my shields here, try to keep them alive. And as long as I have some decent weapon focus on this guy, he should die pretty damn quickly. Now, normally I would boost down as fast as I can, and the egg is practically directly below you most of the time, at least that's what I've found so far. But yeah, as long as you keep the egg reasonably close, it should be very easy to find it, very easy to locate before these guys start attacking you. I had to wait a second just for the recording simply, but yeah, once these guys are gone, which they now are, you can switch back to my pulse wave analyzer and just look around. Try not to move too much while you're in combat if you haven't located your egg already. This looks like it. It should be it. Looks very similar to it. It's spinning reasonably fast and it's really close. Now, yeah, like I said before, if you log out right over the actual, well, if you log out right when you're at the egg, you should spawn directly on top of it, or at least very, very close. So we're just going to send our prospector limpet at it, and I'm 90% sure this is the egg, so we'll just let that hit it. And yep, it says asteroid depleted, but there will still be the subsurface deposits right here that you can mine. And that's basically how it works, and you just repeat this over and over again until your cargo bay is full, or until you just can't handle the pirates anymore, and they're getting too much for you, because I have a suspicion that the more cargo you actually have in your, the more cargo you have, the harder the targets will be. But yeah, I've been able to take on two clippers in this and a dropship. So it's not they're not too hard targets, but something like this unengineered, it's pretty decent being able to take on something like that. But yeah, you just continue mining this, as simple as that. And once you've got all the things you want, you just head out and sell, or deliver to a fleet carrier. Okay guys, we're here on my friend's fleet carrier, and basically this is just selling. Right here I'm selling my whole inventory worth of low temperature diamonds for 107 million, or close to 108 million. Now this is still the only 100 million credits per hour that we used to get, but this is only selling for 280k per ton, and we get a couple more obviously from a refinery, so it's just a little bit more than that. But the 280k per ton is about half of what you would get in the bubble. So I'm selling to my friend's fleet carrier, and we would simply fly the fleet carrier over to where we could sell for close to 500 to 600k per ton, and then we'll be earning close to 200 million per hour from our low temperature diamond mining. Yeah, that's basically how it works, and that's how we get our 200 million per hour. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.